With the launch of the Great War of Separation and Yaira number 2, we have a third beginning of the year release from the Rippaverse, and that is the third issue of the Rippazine. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. Okay, and before I forget, I wanted to remind everyone that I previously did a video on the Emilia Perez scandals, comments made by one of the stars and comments made by the director. Now, I made a deal with fellow YouTuber Jester Bell that if that video got over 500 views with comments that say watch Emil Perez, I would watch the movie and I would do a review for it recorded for YouTube and Rumble. If it gets over 1,000 views with comments saying watch Emil Perez, I will do a live stream after viewing the video. So if you would like to get in on that action, you can click on the link to the video, which I'm going to post on my YouTube channel up in the corner, and go ahead and watch it. Leave a comment. Remember, it's got to get to 500 or 1,000 by the end of the week. Eric July just keeps racking up the wins after a huge appearance in Florida for one of their comic book conventions and joining a panel with a lot of the guys from Friday Night Tykes as well as the Critical Drinker. The Rippaverse announced that they were launching a third pre-order campaign for this year. Now, they have already launched The Great War of Separation, which is written by Chuck Dixon. I'm particularly excited about that one, as well as Yaira number 2, written, of course, by the Saska sisters. And now, the third issue in their anthology series, Rippazine, has been launched. It's going to introduce some new characters, including a short story called Dirty Deeds. Now, for those of you who don't know, they have their regular releases like Isom, Alpha Core, Yaira, and they're introducing a slew of new characters this year, as well as doing some spin-offs for characters like Bloodruth. As for the Rippazine, it's actually an anthology series where they have a bunch of short stories, PI, sort of more noir stuff, as well as some superhero ones. But they also have articles written by fictional characters within the Rippaverse, ads for fake establishments within the Rippaverse, that sort of thing. The first one introduced us to a PI character, and the second one introduced us to a PI character. Now it seems they're going to go a different direction, with the main story of the Rippazine being for a sci-fi tale called Dirty Deeds. Now, the Rippaverse also released an animated trailer for Dirty Deeds, which looked pretty cool. It was more like a motion comic, not like what they did for Yaira or Isom or for the Horsemen, but it still was really cool. We got to hear some voiceover narrations from the characters. It was really neat, and this is my third time saying it was really cool. As with previous issues of the Rippazine, they're going to release 2 covers for it. With their main issues, they usually do 4, but with the Rippazine, since it's more anthology, they usually do a standard cover, which I'm going to show up here. It's more red themed with images from the characters as well as a few others. It looks really neat. I think that they did a good job with this one, but I have to admit the collector's edition cover, it's a step above. I really like how they did that. Of course, I'm more partial to the color blue. It's my favorite color, so that might be why I like this one more. And let me know in the comments below, do you like the standard version or do you like the collected edition? I like them both, like I said, but I'm more partial to the blue because it's my favorite color. In fact, this is the one that I ordered for myself in the pre-order campaign. Now, if you're curious what's going to be featured in this issue of the Rippazine, I'm reading straight from the website Rippaverse.com, where they give an excellent description of it. So it says, what's inside? Exclusive short story, Dirty Deeds. Experience a thrilling sci-fi adventure as a ragtag crew bites off more than they can chew in Dirty Deeds, written by Caro Brown with stunning illustrations by Evan Scale. And I've actually interacted with Caro Brown on X. She is incredibly nice, very sweet. I look forward to reading this story from her. Up next, it's also going to feature in-universe lore and features, dive into articles and insights from the perspectives of beloved characters, adding depth to the ever-expanding Rippaverse. Harriet's Kitchen. Enjoy a new family-loving recipe that's perfect to share while exploring your favorite comics. Villainous gossip and advice. Liliana Renashi and Michael Copper return with their signature segments, spilling secrets and offering tips with a dastardly twist. And it'll have an exclusive first look at ISOM 3, the Great War of Separation, Bloodruth number 1, Yaira number 2. So it'll have those from the highly anticipated Rippaverse lineup. And like I said, I am a huge fan of the Rippaverse. They continue to raise the stakes. They continue to give us new comics, new ideas. And I have to say, I haven't been excited about comic books or a comic book company in a long time. Yes, every once in a while, something Marvel, DC, or Image will do something that will pique my interest, but it's usually very fleeting. Whenever I hear about a Rippaverse pre-order campaign, I get incredibly excited. I'm like, let's go, let's do this, because they're always fun. I always say ISOM got me interested into the story, Alpha Core made me come back for more, and Yaira made me ride or die. And it's the same with ISOM 2, with Gooding the Polymath, with Horseman Welcome to Flores Spark. It has been such a great adventure, and I look forward to seeing even more stuff that they're going to do, because they're also going to do their first sort of space opera epic with Zaylan. They're going to do even more stuff with the expansion of Alpha Core, with the origins of some of the main characters in the Great War of Separation. We're going to see Yaira continuing. We're going to see Yaira's ongoing quest to find out what happened to her family, if they're still alive, if they have passed away, and she's going to encounter even more. And I'm very excited for them to dive into the mystic world with Bloodruth. She was introduced, I believe, in ISOM 2, and she was an incredible character. I can't wait to see how she's going to play out in the broader Rippaverse comic universe. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be epic. And I'm also very excited for some of the other stories they have announced. I really hope that Gooding gets a sequel. Mike Baron is one of my all-time favorite comic book writers, and he did an excellent job with Gooding the Polymath. So I hope that we get to see him again in the series. I hope that we get even more stuff going. I look forward to hearing more announcements. We've also got some books that are based on villains. The Saska sisters, they have said they are separating. They're each going to write an individual book based on the villains introduced in the Rippaverse, and I think that that's going to be fun. I usually am not a huge fan of books where the villains are the main characters, but I'm going to give this a chance just because I have enjoyed the Rippaverse so much. It has been a blast. It has been fun. And I hope that more comic book companies will take their lessons from the Rippaverse. I hope that more indie creators do. And listen, it's not just the Rippaverse that's doing good. I have to also say Iconic Comics. They're doing some really great stuff. They're working really hard. They are pushing, their finale for Black Ops, which I'm kind of sad that that series is ending. That's actually what got me into Iconic Comics and got me into Common America and some of their older stuff. And I can't forget Big Man Comics. They've announced 4 titles this year, and I'm looking forward to reading those as well. This is a great year to be into indie comics. The Rippaverse is exploding. Iconic Comics is exploding, and so many others are getting out there. They're putting their best foot forward, and I look forward to even more excitement in the comic book space and in the indie space. The big two and all the ones in between better get ready, because there are a lot of indie projects and indie companies that are sending out stuff that's going to compete with them, that's going to show them the way. That we are tired of seeing characters like Batman and Spider-Man constantly being beaten down into something that is unrecognizable. The Rippaverse guarantees lore that they will not go to a system like kind of the floating timelines of Marvel and DC. They're going to stay solid, and I'm looking forward to see where that solid timeline takes us, especially with the Rippazine number 3. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you would be so kind, head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I post reviews and commentary on film, TV shows, comic books, anime, and so much more. It's free. You just sign up with your email address or with the WordPress app, so you've got nothing to lose and all to gain, especially in the pop culture space. If you want to support the work that I do, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. It's where I post exclusive articles, and you can sign up for a subscription, or you can send those articles tips. And also, I publish my short stories there. So head on over. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. Speaking of stories, I have 4 published novels. I've got Cacophony, A Tale of Faith and Fear, which is about angels and demons warring over the souls of a small Texas town. You're not going to want to miss it, especially if you enjoy supernatural thrillers and the paranormal. Pick up the first 2 entries into my Sword and Sorcery series, The Seven Royals. Book 1 is All Good Things. Book 2 is Breaking the Stars. It is a series about your favorite fairy tale characters who have to come together to stop a dark army from conquering their lands. Book 3 is on its way. I'll have an announcement about that very soon. It will lead to the epic conclusion of the series. Last but certainly not least is my romance fantasy novella, Blessed Child. It follows an elven princess who discovers she is pregnant with a human baby, and this sends her kingdom into turmoil. Her father, the king of the elves, hires a human knight who is disgraced but on the path of redemption to be her bodyguard, and the two form an unlikely friendship. It is about courage under fire. It is life affirming. Be sure to pick it up, the others or all 4, on Amazon.com and leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.